I was Googling to kind of do research for this story. I was looking at the last time that a nuclear facility was built in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
The answer was the Tennessee Watts Bar reactors, which came online in 1996. Unit 1 did, at least. And Unit 2 came online in 2016. So I guess I am sad to announce that that a middle school student has achieved nuclear fusion more recently than the United States has in a commercial sense.
Jesus.
There is a 13-year-old, Jackson Oswalt, who fused together 2 deuterium atoms using a fuser he had built in the playroom of his family home in Memphis, Tennessee. So not only has Jackson more recently achieved nuclear fusion than the United States, I mean, obviously because it happened recently, but it's like even in the past, even under the Trump presidency, this is the first, the first time that we've achieved nuclear fusion under the Trump presidency. It's also the youngest person in the U.S. to achieve nuclear fusion.
I love that, like, it's this is a Guinness record.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they're like, well, we got to make a category for this, right?
Obviously,
Okay.
yeah.
I had that thought, actually.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go get the degree in nuclear science and bring home some shit from work so that my kid can be the youngest to achieve nuclear fusion.
I'm just saying, I don't really care about the fucking, age ranking, whatever. Fucking, I want to see a speed run of nuclear fusion being achieved. And I'm not talking just about, assembling, the components to fucking, smash atoms together, essentially. I want to see, the study, the learning. I want to see somebody watch a YouTube video and in that afternoon build them a fucking fusion device.
Wasn't that just the Cold War?
Yeah, basically.
I don't know where to start. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know.
Yeah, you start in the backyard mining ore out of the ground and learning to melt it down and make all the vessels
in
you
a crucible,
need.
Yeah. Just fucking heat it up
It's
real hot.
It's like Minecraft.
It's exactly like mine. It's that YouTube channel where the guy makes ancient technology just by hand with his shit that he has, or other ancient technology that he's made in previous videos. I forget the name of the channel, but it's cool as shit. James, actually, as an anthropology guy, but fucking, I gotta send you that. It's good.
Please do. I love all things anthropology, so.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love.
Yeah.
A whole new category in the Guinness World Records anthology.
Which again is just speedrun stuff for non-gamers. I'm deciding now.
Yeah. But also, surprising this time that this was not nearly as bad as the Boy Scout in the, I want to say 80s or 90s.
It was like the late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, David Hahn, who the radioactive Boy Scout, who built a neutron source at the age of 17. He constantly conducted amateur chemistry experiments which caused small explosions and tried to collect samples of every element in the periodic table, including radioactive ones.
Hell yeah. I mean, which is why fission is cooler than fusion, yeah.
Exactly. He built a breeder reactor in his home by collecting small amounts of different materials from household products, americium from smoke detectors, thorium from camping lantern mantles, and radium from clocks, and tritium from gun sights.
What?
He used lithium from $1,000 worth of purchased batteries to purify the thorium ash using a Bunsen burner.
That rules.
You know what? Radioactive Boy Scout does sound very 90s. Come to think of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would be Boy Scout X.
Yeah, he basically fried himself and he died of radiation poisoning.
Mm-hmm. Just like Mary Curie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like all good researchers, you end up fucking just melting yourself with what you figured out.
Why was he doing this though? That's my question.
To get the badge.
The nuclear physics honor badge, of course.
He was the local kid that blew shit up on accident because he was trying to do experiments.
If Zach was a little tiny bit smarter and just maybe a tad more curious,
if I was both smarter and dumber, that would absolutely be me.
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode from the Psychic Dolphin Garage. I'm Zach.
I'm Bo.
And I'm Dennis.
And we have a wonderful guest with us today. It's James. How are you doing today?
I am good.
That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah, James is a buddy of ours from actually the same shithole Facebook group that me and Zach met on.
Because we're boomers.
Because we're boomers, yeah.
Yeah.
And just an all-around cool dude. So
I
he's
do
on
my
the
best.
podcast.
Cool dude, a wonderful comrade, and smart, funny, enormous cojones.
A thick jazz musician, per that one guy.
Yeah.
Per the one, that was a wild night because I promise this is true too. After that, he hit on me. So
Oh, well, fucking there you go, man. Yeah.
You know
Hell
what?
yeah.
they're Hollywood for you, man.
Holly weird, am I right, folks?
Whoa, what won't this guy
That
say?
doesn't begin to Jesus.
No, you know what? When somebody walks up and asks you to, play the lick and do the lick are two very different things after
That's
a gig.
true.
So
That's true. That's true.
Play the lick and do. God damn it. Well, we're excited to be chatting here today, talking about everything good and lovely that is happening this week. It's been a beautiful week. Nothing of note. Nothing terrible has
Totally
gone wrong.
normal.
Totally
like a-
normal.
Southern California weekend.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The president has not been just pumped full of embalming fluids.
it rules. I love it.
Nothing to worry about.
Yep. He's gonna pull through, guys. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I didn't.
yeah,
I
like-
didn't believe it hard enough to for him to not. They've basically cured him, and if they can cure him,
They've
can
cured him
cure
like you cure
anyone.
a fucking salami is what they did. I'm gonna hold out hope. All right.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I
You do cure a salami. That is
Well,
yes.
I'm with Bo on this one. I think what they've done is they've made him camera ready. They've but he's not gonna walk away with this like unscathed. Like as a 70-year-old, you're just not gonna do it. Plus,
yeah, and I'm sure they've got all sorts of fucking magic fucking rich people drugs they've been pumping him full of, but fucking hold that little hope. Clap for fucking Tinkerbell or whatever. Like let's just cross our fingers and
So many
in
that group. I've seen so many of these conservative Trump supporters basically saying oh, if he makes it, we're gonna be fine. It's like, bruh, he's the president. He gets the best care ever.
yeah.
Mhm.
They care flighted him to the best hospital in the country. Like, bruh, come on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not to
I mean,
mention that the videos that have recently come out of him, there's not been many videos of his face, and those that have, when I did a little bit of experimenting and ran them through a deep fake detector, they came out as fake. Take that with a grain of salt, though.
Okay, devil's advocate,
the tech
though.
isn't great.
He's not a real looking person at his best.
I saw a
That
picture
is-
of him. I don't know if you guys have seen this picture, but there's a picture of him at an omelet bar. And so we usually make fun of him because he looks orange, but this dude looked like death. Like he looked pale white. I had never is that his actual complexion? Just pale. He looked. Have you ever seen Vanilla Ice Cream? That was his complexion. I'm just
Luckily, I have. It's very rare to not have seen it, but I
don't know why
have.
I asked the question, but yeah, that was his complexion. Vanilla Ice Cream. It was the wildest. I'm like, he is surely not this pale white, but yeah, he really is.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Along with
Goddamn.
Rudy Giuliani's
I'm gonna
weird
find
zombie
it.
hand.
I'm gonna find the picture.
It just makes the obvious spray tan that much more
Mhm.
that much
Revolting,
worse.
yeah.
That much more revolting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Even funnier that he got the omelet himself. He didn't go to an aide to get the omelet. He wanted to go get his.
he's having fun. Trump has been having fun with everything he's doing. It's kind of like we talked about at the beginning of that picture. Yeah. At the beginning of the presidency, he bought his way into it. He got the right people to put him in, and he's just enjoying it. He's the most powerful man on earth. Who wouldn't want to do that if they had that much money? What else can you do when you own resorts and go do whatever the fuck you want? So
Eat some fucking omelets. That's what you do.
he's
apparently.
also getting taxpayer funded healthcare, the best in the world.
Yeah.
Which good for him, I guess. And the rest of us can suck it.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I guess the system works. It really works. It works so good. It puts resources exactly where they need to be, which is in the hands of the billionaires.
In the ass of this dude.
Alleged billionaires, like
Yeah.
In the ass of their, yeah, just shooting it right into straight into their cheeks.
That's where they put the embalming fluid.
Yep.
Allegedly.
allegedly, like Giuliani, how he looks like that all the time.
Oh yeah,
I think
he's
already.
looking
I
hot.
think he's been dead since March.
They forgot to spray tan his hand before they started puppeting him on the on
Right.
Yeah,
Fox
no,
News.
Giuliani, you were supposed to spray him down a little bit with like a spray bottle before you put him in front of a camera, just so he looks, lively, like a shitty
Yeah.
plant or something. But no, they've just given up.
I mean, I've been watching and reading a lot of like horror stuff lately, because I'm trying to write some stuff.
Tis the season,
And
also that
Tis the
sure.
season. But, so I'm reading a lot about like, fucking, resurrecting stuff. I don't know how like Hugh hasn't gotten on to the fact that like these are resurrected bodies. Like for sure, Trump is just like a resurrected corpse as well as Giuliani, and they are.
That's why.
I mean, why do you think Pence was plagued by a fly? Is because he was
They
a rotting
just shot him
corpse.
full of electrodes, and fucking there you go.
Mm-hmm.
My very Christian mother said like Beelzebub knows, like flies know Beelzebub. So that's why they're attracted to him.
Oh fuck yeah, that rules.
Well, there's no better example of the, or no better demonstration rather of the systems that work to keep us slaves to capitalism and to make sure that we can revive our rulers whenever they die, than the incident this weekend during a protest. A camera crew had a camera crew had their security guard with them, who ended up shooting a protester.
Yeah,
Now,
which
this is
sounds
not
like
a
a bad
BL
thing, but
yes, sounds like a bad thing, but this was not a BLM protester. The security guard was shooting a
a right-wing
Proud-
counter protester who's
Proud Boy
there.
protester. They weren't
Yeah.
the counter protesters. Antifa was counter protesters at this one. This happened in Denver, Colorado.
Mhm.
The private
Yeah.
security guard fatally shot this guy. I'm sure you've all seen the pictures. I'm sure every podcast is fucking covering this, because what else are we going to
Mhm.
cover? This is the big story of the weekend.
Yeah. No,
you
yeah, you're
know,
right. Yeah, Patriot Rally was set up for 2 p.m. and then counter protest is the BLM Antifa Soup Drive, which that fucking rules.
Yep.
That sounds like a
I
great time.
love that.
Now the big thing about this story is, that we're gonna focus on is, not the what led up to this or anything. What we'd like to talk about, which again everyone's talking about on Twitter, I'm sure you'll hear this a lot, was that the security company that the security guard was with was the Pinkerton Security Company, which I don't know if you haven't heard of the Battle of Blair Mountain.
You may have played a little thing called Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, or the
Just,
Pinkerton National
breaking
Detective
up-
Agency that actually existed, that GTA 5 did not make up.
Yeah. Fucking breaking up unions throughout the 20th century,
Mhm.
rebranding as essentially like security consulting, and I mean obviously just physical security too. Closer to the end of the 20th century.
Yep.
Pinkerton, yeah.
The Pinkerton Agency was established by Alan Pinkerton, a Scottish detective and spy. They are. This is like.
Way to take like a cool fucking background and turn it into the just chodiest shit possible.
Yeah, I think the history of the Pinkertons is like it's like a bad political comic about how shitty and evil Americans are.
Yeah.
Or that thing where everyone's like, oh, the CIA wouldn't do that, and then we find documents explaining how explicitly and overtly the CIA definitely did it.
Yeah, all the really heinous shit throughout history that's like, oh, this has to be a conspiracy theory. And it's like, no, you can, it's in books. Like, you can look at this. It's real.
Yeah, that was the Pinkertons. And they are now owned by Securitas, a Swiss company.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think Swedish, right?
Is it Swiss
One of the two?
Those are both really close to each
Yeah,
other.
it's in Stockholm.
No,
it's
they're not.
Sweden. That's
Stockholm, Switzerland,
yeah.
Oh, I see. They also
Stockholm
operate
Syndrome.
Protectus AG, which is in Switzerland, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So Securitas, named after the Roman
Security.
god. Yeah.
The concept of security. I'm sorry.
Concept of security.
Just fucking. Yeah, no, which seems to be a pretty, just general, same thing, just there,
Yeah, I mean, security companies these days are multi-pronged. The Roman goddess
Yeah.
of security and stability is what it was named after. There's a whole Wikipedia article which you can look at and look at their, wonderful history. In 1991, they were finally put on the stock exchange as a company. In 1999, they acquired Pinkerton, and then Burn Security and several regional security companies in the United States. So this is like the alphabet of security contracting, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Mhm.
Yeah. In 2007, the United Kingdom, cash handling services, the division Loomis, were sold to their other shell companies, is what I assume these are. Barclays and HSBC. Those are all big names. I know Loomis. I work on Loomis security stuff. That's in IT and in restaurants.
Yep. Yeah.
Securitas began operating in Peru in November 2007.
Gee, I wonder what they are doing in South America.
It reminds me of Blackwater, more or less, or whatever Blackwater train.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely what this is.
Yeah. Didn't they have Merck contracts or something?
In 2013, Securitas acquired Pinkerton Government Services, which provides cleared security services to governmental agencies and programs that require a Department of Defense or Department of Energy security clearance. It is now known as Securitas Critical Infrastructure Services. That is a weird name.
Pretty creepy. Yeah.
Also, in 2015, they acquired Diebold. So yeah, this is the alphabet of security in North America. This is
creepy. Yeah, fucking
This
if you
is-
need thugs with guns, fucking these are your guys.
Yeah, and as much as
Yeah.
we talk about that being, the cops, all the cops were the Pinkertons at some point.
Yeah, or in this case, it's essentially the Mick cops. Yeah. I mean, the good part is, after they brutalize you, they leave a coupon for a Happy Meal. But other than that, more or less the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we know about the strike breaking. There were a lot of times when the Pinkertons were literally just armed and the term is helping assisting in labor disputes, which means they
Yeah.
were shooting workers.
Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, and nowadays, if you look at the security guard entry in Wikipedia, I'm just using Wikipedia. I'm using the neoliberal ruler for what the world around us is like.
The fucking surface level kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the type of personnel that work at security companies, there's in-house, there's security supervisor who meets with clients and employees, a scheduler who assign and strategic scheduling.
Paul Blart.
Human
Mhm.
resources manager, client service
course,
manager,
yeah.
client service supervisor, contract personnel working for a private security company which protects many locations. Public
I mean, that's-
security.
That's the thing, right? In between, I'm the project manager, and I, push up my glasses, and I, make sure everybody's in the right place, the right time. In between that, you have a dude in a neck gaiter, not saying a word, holding a fucking rifle, just vibing. Just, what's he do? You don't want to know.
Yeah, no, it's the big
I do.
thug whose eyes are shadowed, and then it's like the nerd with the anime glasses. And they both work for the same company, doing evil
Yeah.
shit.
So-
Public security, a person employed or appointed security officer by government or government agency. Private police officers or special police.
There it is. Special police.
There you go.
Private patrol officers, vehicle patrol officers that protect multiple client premises. And then parapolice. Aggressive
that's
firms that routinely engage in criminal investigation and arrest. And there's our Blackwater tie-in.
that's extra
Yeah.
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I-
basically, after there were no more cowboys, and they
Uh-huh.
didn't have Butch Cassidy to catch. They decided to hang up their spurs and become Blackwater before
Yep.
Blackwater.
Yeah.
So, like,
I
have
really
to
think.
make, like,
Yeah.
Also, I have to make a really nerdy historical reference. Like, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me
What's
of
up?
like Cecil Rhodes back in the day, like when he was first this prime minister in Africa. It's like he had like a private army, and like he would go around like invading countries, and so like the British Empire was like, hey, stop doing that. Like we already have an army, and so like instead of doing that, Cecil Rhodes said, okay, fine, I won't do that. And so like he was going around looking for like diamond mines or whatever kind of mines. And so, like, he would just send his quote-unquote police force to protect the mines, and then this police force would, then protect the entire country. This is kind of what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's all the same shit, right? It's like it's the same, set of kinds of dudes who become cops or fucking go overseas to just fucking dick around and defend
The
whatever
the French
imperial
Foreign
interests,
Legion or
right?
whatever.
Yeah,
Oil,
and
the platinum.
yeah, and but instead of like having that veneer of like, oh yes, these are the important boys designated by the state to do whatever important work the state needs done, it's like, nah, these are just straight up hired guns, man.
Well,
you
and
know?
it's hidden under the veneer of these private security officers, mall cops, cash transit vans, people that are security at at sporting events, people that are private guards on merchant ships protecting us on the high seas. Like, it's hidden behind this veneer of like, oh, there's a need for security in the world. There's a need for these people, and they do all that stuff, and then behind the scenes there is there is the bit where they also maintain the power structure that allows them to make money off of their necessity in these situations. Some of the references for the parapolice definition come from 3 books. I'm going to just read their titles because they're terrifying. This one is from 2002. The New Parapolice: Risk Markets and the Commodification of Social Control.
Ooh, I like that. That's
Para-
great.
Parapolice. A Revolution in the Business of Law Enforcement.
Ugh.
Business of law enforcement. Interesting.
And then the third one, Security Officers and Policing: Powers, Culture, and Control in the Governance of Private Space.
That sounds less than ideal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it sounds like the most like dry academic versions of like, hey, shit's fucked up.
That's
Mhm.
exactly. It's something exactly. You took
Yeah,
the words
yeah.
out of my mouth.
They're doing
So-
the Kropotkin thing where they have like this massively like long explanation, and then they're like, yeah, shit's fucked, and then that's the end of the book.
Honestly, I've been writing this paper for my law class about the war on drugs, and so
Mhm.
like it's 15 pages long, and so like I'm almost done, and I'm just like, this whole thing could just be, holy crap, that was racist, and that could be the entire.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. So Pinkerton specifically is relevant in this day and age, and by which I mean over the fucking weekend, because one of these fucking protesters that was with the quote Patriot rally at the in downtown Denver fucked around and found out. Because essentially they were hired as security for reporters reporting on the Patriot rally.
It's very
And,
interesting, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Patriot, I'm assuming it's just a racist. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like, in a concert, like, oh, I want to go. No, never.
Yeah, fuck no. Yeah. Yeah, I guarantee you,
interesting.
if you see, you know, a quote unquote patriot, you know, kicking down the highway with an American flag hanging off the back of his truck, you know, don't ask him his opinions on anything, really.
Nothing. You know, my dad is like this hardcore conservative. He was in the Marine Corps. He was a cop and all the rest of it. But even when he sees patriots, like, maybe I just won't.
Yeah, exactly. Which it's funny you mentioned that too. This guy who was shot at the rally, a veteran as well, Lee Keltner, Navy veteran, who apparently, per this article, operated a hat making business in the Denver area, which I can only assume means drop shipping MAGA hats to other idiots.
Say, it definitely was MAGA hats.
Yeah.
God damn it! It's very interesting that the
not
security guard that was literally just defending a news team was immediately arrested, and they're looking to charge him with homicide. Very suspicious that, I don't know, the cop's friends got shot, and suddenly they're all over making sure that this person is locked away.
Yeah, this dude who, by all accounts, is essentially a cop as well, right? Like, you know, the term rent a cop. I think the way the event played out though is especially worth touching on. Because if you look at the photos, fucking, you know, the Chud guy Lee, he walks up and like smacks the security guy, and then backs off, then turns to fucking bear mace him and gets popped, which. Fucking, this is a photo for the history books. The pistol, like, fucking, you know, mid slide back, like you can see the fucking case ejected, right, in the photo, and you can just see the whole scene reflected in this motherfucker's Oakleys, which I think is a great metaphor for the whole, like, you know, don't tread on me, back the blue, fucking kind of moron that this guy, I assume, must have been. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a great photo, and it's sad that I'm sure that this will get covered up in the general miasma of stories that just happen one after the other these days.
Yeah, the thick fucking fog of everything being terrible.
Yep, time is actively compressing, so there's no absorbing all of these things, and you need to talk about all of them. This is the most that we'll get to touch on this, because we're not going to be talking about it next week. The same way that we're still going to talk about, you know, in our next section, why isn't this trending? The Whitmer conspiracies. We've already forgotten that a literal governor of a state was going to be kidnapped. And some of the headlines that have come out of this are so... The sheriff pal of the militia twins, the twin brothers, Michael and William, a sheriff pal of theirs said that the Whitmer kidnap plot could have been a legal citizen's arrest attempt.
Dude, arrest the sheriff.
It's interesting.
That's so fucked.
Like, the sheriff is a little too sus. Like, I heard a statement that was just like, he needs to be questioned by the FBI too. Like, this is a hot mess and a half.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it sets up, if he's not, you know, fucking like indicted or something, I don't even know what you do, but like, you know, then it kind of sets a precedent of like, oh yeah, I can just like imagine a threat from any government official, and you know, me and my boys can, you know, head off and just fucking kidnap him.
Yeah, what is stopping anyone from doing that to literally any politician?
Yeah.
It's kind of wild because
exactly.
Like, conservative. Like, I'm just like, I said to one of my friends, like, imagine if like it was like me and my black communist homies go kidnap.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not gonna. Nah, we're gonna be like terrorists on every news network.
Oh no, yeah, they're gonna level your whole fucking apartment complex and everyone in it. You know,
East LA will be one. That'll be the end of East LA. Like, that's gonna be 10. Yeah. Be wild. Like, nah.
It's amazing that they keep stirring the pot. The Republicans are still messaging this stuff, that the fascists who have been handed the levers of power in a Trump government system are still pushing these people when they don't like these politicians either. Like, this is a plan to kidnap a Democrat governor, but these guys have been shooting the police.
Yeah.
This is domestic terror that is not aimed at who they think it's aimed at. This is a fully like this is a tightly packed pressure cooker that's been placed in the houses of Congress, and it's gonna hit everybody.
Yeah.
This is not the alt-right. The Boogaloo Boys are very all of their posts are just anti-government, not anti-democrat, and it's terrifying.
Specifically.
Yeah, communists. It's just what they're being told. That's
well, that's the thing. When you think fucking milquetoast, Democrats or communists, like fucking like the vast majority of the country is communist at that point. We should be so fucking lucky.
When you think the Democrats are the milquetoast Democrats are communists, and you call yourselves the Wolverine Watchmen, maybe your material analysis is wrong.
You know what's wild? So like one of my I have a lot of friends in Brazil, and so like one of my home, I'm living in Minas Gerais, which is a state in the south of Brazil. He saw Joe Biden on the news. He goes like, "Is this really like who's going to be America's next president?" I said, "Maybe, I'm not sure." And he said, "What is the left going to do?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What is your left wing party going to like?"
That is the left.
What do you mean, our left wing party? He goes like, "Don't you have a left party?" I was like, "Sir."
Oh no! He got our asses. He got us so good.
Whatever will your Labor Party do?
Oh no, that hurts.
He goes, "Wait a minute." So he goes, "You guys have like the Democratic Party?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You have like the Fascist Party?" Like, "Yeah." He goes, "So where's your Socialist Party?" I'm just like
looking at the Revcoms very angrily.
Man, like, no, this is like fucking when somebody like gets in your car and it's like, "Oh no, sorry, it's not usually this messy." It's fucking that messy. They know. They know you're bullshitting them.
I love that.
That's what the American government is. It's our shitty fucking, beat up early 2000s fucking full of fast food rappers car.
Mm-hmm.
Even one of my friends, like, he came like from Tanzania to here, like just to go to school. And so like the concept of homelessness blew his mind. Because like, yeah, Tanzania is a poor country, but like people don't live on the street. And so like, he was like, why doesn't the government like put them in houses? I'm just like, why are you asking rational questions? And it's like because like Tanzania, like they're not even a socialist country, but like if somebody doesn't have a home, like they'll build them a house. They have to live in the street.
Yeah.
And so like just like concept of like somebody living on the street with no food like blew his mind. He goes like, but you have more money than us. It's like, yeah. It's like here's the problem.
I love that in countries where Western powers fully have installed fascist dictators to stop like any form of socialism, they still have socialist parties. Like that, like in South America too, like very specifically, like Pinochet killed communists.
Yeah.
But they still had a socialist party running. Like they're like, maybe we can win the election or something, or like protect a few people. Who knows? But like
they were just following Lenin's words that we have to participate in the bourgeois electoral systems to show that they're ineffective, and they were murdered. And then they went, yeah, that's kind of fucked. Neoliberalism sucks.
But here, where like sure we had a red scare, but like there was no like we had our own rounding up of socialists and things, but never anyone like an installed dictator like outright killing them in the streets. Like we've still never been able to like the most socialist person that we've ever had at least run since Debs was Bernie Sanders.
Oh boy.
This like, oh my god,
He's not even very left wing. Like he probably wouldn't even qualify for a left wing party in Latin America. He might get like
he'd be a pretty center.
He'd be a moderate
comparatively,
center, something like that.
Mm-hmm. If anything, that he would be the like part of a coalition government that they would try to like the left wing would try to work with.
It was kind of crazy. It's like in Brazil, like, there's a party and their name translates to the Democratic Party, and they're a far right party. And so, like, when I learned that, I had to laugh. I'm just like, oh god. Like,
well, it's the same in Japan. Like, ever since the United States wrote their constitution, there's only been one party that's been in power. Like, the prime minister's always been from the Liberal Democratic Party, which is an incredibly right-wing party.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the only thing that is not there are a few parties that are a bit farther right, but that's just because they're like fundamentalist, like Buddhist
Wacko
parties.
nationalist, fucking
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean the Liberal Democratic Party is extremely
Look,
nationalist.
they aren't as bad
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the American parties, okay? This guy calls himself Boogaloo Bunyan online. Like, I can't
Wow.
fucking
No
can't
one-
handle it.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
the United States will always win in cringe, if anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we export cringe to every other fucking country on the planet.
That's the reason they can't get rid of us. China will never invade America because where else will they be able to find this much cringe packed in
Yeah.
this efficiently?
It's the way
well,
that we stack it, It's just,
yeah,
make sure that all the rounded edges are perfect.
exactly.
Yep.
We've done the math. We figured out the most efficient way to take our tube-shaped cringe and ship it overseas.
It's perfect.
I've watched a YouTube video about somebody doing mathematics to figure that shit out. So that was the first reference I had at hand. And there is no way to segue from that to vaccines unless we want to talk about the little vials that the vaccines come in. I don't know.
No, you're good.
Okay. All right.
Just
well,
download
don't-
them to me over the 5G. Fucking come on,
Yeah.
Zuckerberg, get it together.
Yeah, sometimes things don't need like slick segues. You could
Yeah,
just,
because
like,
we have
bring
so
it
many
up.
slick segues. Otherwise,
God.
I think we've met our quota.
Excellent segue.
I've packed this entire episode full of segues, full of tube shaped cylindric segues. I can't. That's too many.
She sells seashells.
By
Yeah,
the
with your-
cylindric segue.
Okay,
Your
great.
your
Yeah.
queer sibilant S's keep you from saying that correctly.
Exactly.
You are too bisexual to say that.
COVID-19. Goddamn, we're really going all out for coming out day.
Yeah. By the way, happy
that a
coming
thing,
out day,
really?
everyone.
Yes, today
Mhm.
on the day we're recording, October 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Noted for next year.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep. Everyone, bear your hearts out right now.
The COVID-19 vaccine contains squalene. It is used. It is used in the vaccine. That is to say, it is used to produce the coronavirus vaccine, and
Mhm.
it is typically farmed from shark livers. I'm fairly certain that it's kind of illegal in places like America. I'm not
Everywhere?
100% sure that it's illegal in places like America or everywhere, but it is still, lots of people are still hunting, fishing for sharks to eat. Shark fin soup is like the big one that they do scaraganda about.
Hmm.
But a lot of this squalene is used in the beauty industry. It is used obviously in the science industry as well, as a
Medium.
as a medium. Thank you. It is a very cool molecule, and it's used as it protects your skin. Apparently, that's why it's used in
'Cause it's-
cosmetics.
Yeah, it's fat.
It's
liver oil, yeah.
It has almost no contact allergen or irritation. It's also produced.
If you're allergic to sharks, fuck you. Is basically what he's saying there.
Yeah, it's also produced in other naturally occurring sources that are not sharks, but because of its abundance in shark livers, because it's liver
And because
oil,
fuck sharks.
and
you know,
also fuck
apparently.
sharks. Apparently, the coronavirus vaccine is going to decimate shark lives,
Right.
which is not great. Which
It's
is
not fun. Yeah.
No.
It's another environmental factor of of capitalism, another environmental factor of just this idea that we're waiting for a vaccine instead of taking steps to make sure that we aren't just murdering people by forcing them to.
Instead of just staying home for Pride, we're just waiting for a vaccine.
Instead of contact tracing.
I'm an anthropology homie, not a biology homie, so I feel like
Same
this
here.
is necessary. I feel like there's better ways to do this. I don't know what they are, but I feel like this is the easiest pandemic ever. All we have to do
Yeah.
is or if we go out, wear a mask. I feel like we don't need to be urgently waiting for a vaccine. Like, this is not terribly hard to mitigate. So I'm just like,
it's
why we're murdering sharks and like why we're even murdering ourselves, forcing ourselves to go back to work and be productive when it's not even necessary.
Yeah, and we even talked about at the beginning, like, Republicans talk all the time about how they're going to, we need smaller government because big government doesn't let you not spend more money on doing things. And if you have smaller government, then the more smaller the government is, the more you're subsidizing the idea that people are going to make good businesses and make money doing good things and the
doing
free market
things
will provide.
smarterly than they would otherwise.
Magnate voice?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, now listen here. If you want a proper oil magnate voice, it's got to be a little bit goofier than what you're doing there, son.
Mine was just a weird tech bro that thinks he's from. Mine was the beta voice.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
So
there are ways to derive squalene from other natural sources. I have actually found an article on it because because I believe very strongly in the ability of human beings to overcome our desire to destroy the enviment
To
in
just
its
fuck
totality.
up some sharks.
Right. I mean, there's multiple factors in this whole thing. They're like, James, you're like studying anthropology. You're an anthropologist. I'm technically an anthropologist, but more on the cultural side of things.
Hey, me too. That's why I'm getting my degree in anthropology. How funny.
Yeah, I have mine in ethnic studies specifically.
Nice.
There is this like weird compulsion for Western people to want to conquer.
You can say white. I'll give you a pass. You can say white.
White people to conquer and like destroy the environment. Like this article that Zach found was talking about somewhere where like 500,000 sharks would have to die for the amount of vaccine that we would need. Sharks are, I don't know that much about biology, but sharks are apex predators wherever they're at. The only other thing that kills sharks are other sharks and
us, yeah.
And us and like orcas.
Yeah.
So this would obviously be extremely devastating to whatever environment they are this is harvested from. There are other ways, like you cannot tell me that we can go to the literal bottom of the earth and to the tip of the moon, but we can't figure out like to do this in like fucking yeast, like normal people or normal
genetically engineered into some fucking factory farm chickens. Like, yeah, it's still fucked up and cruel, but like, it's fucking chickens. Turn them into wings. Deep fry the fucking corona vaccine. That would be amazing.
Deep fried corona vaccine. There are
you go to Little Caesars. You go to fucking Little Caesars or Burger King or whatever shithole restaurant you want and ask, hey, can I get the fucking corona vaccine chicken? And there you go. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Just do that. A better world we were doing it fucking 7 months ago.
Exactly. Well, or just making sure it doesn't spread to 30 million people across the world. And that way it doesn't start picking up these. It doesn't start picking up these mutations along the way because
like y'all were saying, some pretty basic, social measures could be taken to. I mean, at this point, it's the equivalent of like digging around in like a box of needles and then like and like fucking feces, and then afterward being like, well, I'm gonna wash my hands and wait for somebody to figure out a way to cure me, rather than just not fucking getting yourself sick in the first place.
It's certain pride events that actually might be something that happened.
Oh,
at least the
God damn. God damn. Well, yeah, I mean, what's a few shark species that we just disappear to cure coronavirus when we could be doing something like deriving it from other natural sources? And I'm just going to read some excerpts I've taken from this study that talks about how the squalene concentration in olive oil have showed that this hydrocarbon represents over 50% of the unsaponifiable fraction and up to 90% of the total hydrocarbons content thereof. I don't know what unsaponifiable, and I'm not looking it up.
Sapin, like saponins, or something that can be turned into soap. So like a fat that wouldn't be able to turn into soap.
Yeah, not to be confused with saphenins, which are things that can be turned into lesbians.
Yeah.
I choked on my coffee. Jeez.
God damn it. Anyway.
That was a really bad pun. I'm sorry.
You almost saw James on the podcast live.
You know what? Our good friend of the show, Artemis, would appreciate that one.
True. Anyway, the final concentration is significantly influenced by the methods of extraction and oil refining. Commercially available methods for squalene extraction from olive oil yield to a vegetable squalene with around 97.5% purity, while squalene obtained from shark liver oil can reach 99.9% purity. Which
Now,
that's pretty close.
Now, okay, this might be me thinking just a little conspiracy brained, but you know where a lot of olive oil comes from?
We're driving
Olive
the
Garden.
people out of
No.
Palestine so that we
Yes.
decimate sharks.
Exactly.
Jews hate sharks. Why did
No,
the Jews
I-
hate
Well-
sharks?
No, Zach, don't dig yourself into a hole with this one. What I was gonna say is like we have much more interest in making sure that the state of Israel stays economically relevant by not allowing Palestinians to make money by helping out the world and growing olives that would be the medium in which the global pandemic vaccine
All right,
is,
hang on.
is
I
found.
have to write a clickbait article for my anti-Zionist website that I run, talking about how Palestine holds the key to curing COVID, and Israel doesn't want us to have it.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking of a fucking
I would share that first.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like now that you're saying it, like a just absolutely out there fucking YouTube conspiracy guy, like a very Jews rule the world secretly, are eating our babies, blood libel fucking psycho kind of, but specifically really into sharks, and his whole thing that ties it together is the movie Jaws.
Oh yeah.
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 Oh,
Oh
and
well.
Spielberg, because Spielberg is Jewish too. There you go.
Exactly.
If
Yeah.
you guys thought
Yep.
if you guys thought that's kind of conspiratorial, wait till I read this next paragraph, also taken from the same study. Squalene is considered today an interesting natural molecule with broad applications in food industry and cosmetics and in prevention and treatment of human diseases. In order to preserve the marine life, new accessible natural resources of squalene and cost-effective methods to separate it are sought. Reviewing the existing literature data, we concluded that deodorizer distillates from the distillation of edible vegetable oils like olive, soybean, or palmer oils represent a valuable natural source for squalene. Amaranth oil could be considered an interesting source, as the squalene concentration in this oil is probably the greatest in the vegetable kingdom, but the process is cost-effective only if it is coupled with the obtaining of starch-rich flour from amaranthus seeds or leaves. In terms of separation methods, the conventional method of solvent extraction still remains the most preferred in the industry for the oil extraction, followed by molecular distillation for the squalene separation. Supercritical fluid extraction with CO2 represents an environmentally friendly process which is now used only at laboratory or pilot level, especially for the oil fractionation in order to separate valuable minor components like squalene or tocopherols.
Okay. So Dr. Sophia will be able to correct us once we are definitely incorrect. But my assumption is so a majority of the soy that is grown here in the United States is for feed. It's for cattle.
Mm-hmm.
It is not for us, and that means then at least in my mind, it is the beef industry is more important to overfeeding the population beef, which is as it turns out not very healthy for you, than it is to make sure that we have this readily available source of squalene. Also interesting that you bring up amaranth, because amaranth is a native food that is trying to be reintroduced to native people in Mexico by groups that are like about decolonizing people's diets, because Native Americans have in Mexico have some of the lowest life expectancies because of their diets. Their diets are very poor, because they're typically very poor.
And being poor kills you in
Yes.
almost every
Yeah.
country.
And the Spanish were not very keen on making sure that amaranth was still around, because they wanted to get rid of a lot of native foods so they can grow stuff that was more profitable for them.
Yep. Well,
So
and
this
if
is a long time coming, basically.
Exactly. If there's so much squalene in olives, soybeans, and palm oils, then that means that soy boys are more highly exposed to this this natural molecule, which has broad applications in prevention and treatment of human diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Soy boys are healthier than you.
Yep.
Eating
Yep.
soy
As-
will prevent the 5G signals from penetrating
Yeah.
your skin. If you get a squalene based face wash or any other beauty product and you use it regularly, you can protect yourself from 5G.
Not only that though, but like all that soy is going to give you a killer rack. Like
Oh,
you're
just
gonna
thick heaving udders. Yeah.
yeah, you are going to look choice.
Yeah, you're gonna be bouncing around like a fucking tetherball court. I don't know, like an anime tetherball court. Fuck you.
Big
Yeah.
fucking milkers. The Ordinary sells a 1 ounce dropper of squalene. It's $7.90, and it's a great hydrator.
For Jesus Christ,
And
that is
it's
so expensive.
and it's plant derived squalene.
yeah,
It is kind of expensive. The Ordinary has gotten way more expensive now because
clearly
it's
though
owned
this
by.
is like
But enough about.
You know what's even more
beauty
expensive?
products.
Having a fucking Cheeto in the White House, Dennis.
You know what's more expensive? Having to breed sharks from all the DNA that we saved up and just releasing megalodons into their megalodons, right? Yeah,
God, that'd be a
releasing
great
megalodons into
fucking-
the ocean.
Yeah, that's the next Sharknado is like zombie sharks because they genetically engineered them to cure corona.
Whatever that is. I don't know what that is. But let's not.
The lab grown sharks that have like extra squalene in their livers, but
Let's-
the extra squalene in their livers drives them to crave human meat.
mhm.
Yeah, I'd watch this movie.
I feel like that was made. I think we saw that. Somewhere.
Yeah, I almost do feel like this one was made already.
It's about on par with like fucking Money Plane or something. So like
Mhm.
it can be made.
Well, just
So-
make sure that the sharks have like big tits, and then we're good.
Absolutely.
Required.
We got to make this like very anthro friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God. Also, someone draw our psychic dolphin with just heaving udders,
Just-
please.
Yeah, just huge titties.
We need something to put on, like we need a new. We're gonna put that as the Patreon.
A hoodie for we're already a little late for fucking most of the country, but for Texas and LA where it is cold for a week and cold never. We can get hoodies out in time and
Honestly, this kind of goes
Push
off
that
what
merch.
I am. I remember I know I'm spoiled because like I got mad because like one day it was like 65 degrees and like it's cold out here.
Mhm.
Like this is what I signed up for. It's supposed to be like 75. What is this? And so or like one day it was like 93. It's like no, this is horrible. This is like if it's not perfect weather, we get mad.
oh my god.
Exactly. I
Yep.
got spoiled too. I worked in the garage for like 2 weeks and it was like 70 degrees and I was like, oh yes, thank God. And now it's above 90 again. So global warming will end us all.
It's so nice here that like I don't have an AC at home. It's not needed. Like and so
Yep.
like that
Yeah.
it was like 122 degrees here. I almost died.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, James, I can relate. It was
Yeah, good fucking luck, y'all.
mhm.
Yeah.
You would think that in a place that was that is literally a desert, it's not literally a desert, but close enough to one.
Practically a
But,
desert, yeah.
It's adjacent
Yeah.
to one.
It'll be a desert, yeah, in a couple years, but we're technically still a Mediterranean climate. You would think that they would just have working air conditioners, but no, it's not required. They don't give a shit.
Yep. Much like we don't give a shit about you if you've made it this far. Fuck you for listening to us in the first place.
That's how you should talk to your listeners, just like that.
Buy our non-existent big titty dolphin hoodie now in
If that was
stores.
a
Go to
hoodie, I would
Walmart.
And
Go to fucking Walmart. Ask them for the Travis Scott Psychic Dolphin Garage Big Titty Dolphin Anthro whatever hoodie. Those exact words. And the look on their face will be epic. I believe that's how the rest of that meme goes.
T-shirt with the word anthropology on it, with no context whatsoever. Anthropology, nothing else.
Oh god.
Well, I guess for our outro, if you've made it this far, you are a true comrade, and we do want to thank you for sticking around through all of our dumb jokes. We'd like to shout out all of our patrons, especially Scott for contributing to our dialectical tier. You rock, Scott. And Spencer, Not Thomas, and Tim for contributing to our Devil's Advocate tier. Y'all keep the show running, especially now that we have, used some of our Patreon funds. So we want to thank you again for improving our lives.
Buying better mics and shit, yeah.
And giving us, a reason to keep going. Let us know how you liked our latest Patreon exclusive episode. We should have our exclusive Patreon episode with Pearson from Coffee with Comrades up. And remember, if you want to become a patron, you can do that for $5 a month, or for the time being, we have $1 a month tier open, and you can spend the other $4 on bail funds. So let's go ahead and run through what all do we have to plug this week.
Nothing on my end. I'm just working on a few things, editing videos, getting some writing done for some other.
Just
things
fucking
coming up.
vibing.
Just
Wow.
vibing. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
James, where can people find you on social media?
Twitter, I think, is the best way. So I'm
Yep.
Anthropology Homie on Twitter.
Fucking
Hell
love
yeah.
that handle. That's so good.
yeah. Find
Alrighty.
Anthropology, homie. I will tag it in the show title and stuff. Remember to follow our social media, to check out our streams, and post on our subreddit. And we'll see you tonight on our reading stream, reading Conquest of Bread.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, yeah. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.